Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, MaryAnne's Mystic Mansions. Welcome to your daily Sun Sign Love Connection readings. And welcome to December 15th. These are going to be the mid-month readings now. I'm starting again around the zodiac wheel with the beautiful first sign of Aries. And that'll be the featured sign. So those that are new, welcome, always. Those returning, thank you so very much. You know it's so incredibly important to me, and your contribution of just being here or subscribing and liking is really all I ask for. It just means the world to me. So thank you. And I do want to say just a short little intro for the new people. So I pick a featured sign by going around the zodiac sign. That's the first sun sign. And then I pick a random, as I call it, highlighted sign that Spirit wants you to kind of tune into for today, or for longer, but definitely for today. For whatever reasons that the message is coming through, I read 3 specific categories for this highlighted connection. And so that's going to be right in front of you, the sign of Taurus. We just did Taurus yesterday. We're going to move it forward a bit. And I'm going to try to, there's off the table. I like doing this in front of you so you understand that it's fresh, it's new, it's authentic. It's not something that I am aware of, because Spirit is actually, I work with Spirit. But you have Sagittarius. Let me check real quick. Sounds very familiar. I always do this. I should have done it ahead of time. What I'm curious about is if that was the connection for the last months at the beginning of the month. It sounds very, very familiar, unless it was Sagittarius that had it. But it just takes a moment. So Aries was with Cancer mid-month, and Aries was with Virgo, and Aries was with Aquarius and Leo. So unless I'm missing something, it's Sagittarius, boy. And you know what? Oh my, it was from October, but that was a couple months ago. So yes and yes, this is brilliant. Thank you, Spirit. And then in addition to that, I'll be reading an individual message for every other zodiac sign in connection with Aries, because we know a lot of people in life. This is the sun sign readings. This is the part of us that is our personality and our ego, and the month we're born, and our vitality, and our interests, and our drive, and the way people perceive us many times. And so it's a 12th of who we are. I will make that very clear. It's very important that we're so individual in other ways of just being an Aries. But you may have a lot of Aries. You may have a lot of fire in your chart. Let me just say that one of the reasons I love this so much is because we had the new moon solar eclipse yesterday in Sagittarius. This is a very powerful, important, transformational planetary aspect and change for everybody. But it's particularly pertinent for certainly Sagittarius and fellow air signs like yourself. Fire signs. So Aries and Sagittarius do well together in general. They work well together. They understand each other. They have the same vitality and motivation, being that fire. And it's a gorgeous coupling, but in all realms, okay? Love is taken in this context of all different forms. So if you're a single person, you are not singled out from these readings, because you can have love for so many things, right? And by the way, if you're an Aries that's single, this might be very indicative of you maybe meeting a Sagittarius, it's a very good possibility. That's how I believe and have seen these kind of readings play out. And lastly, I will say that this is just a little, tidbit of what I am and what my energy is, and something that I'm hoping you'll love and want to come back to and you resonate with. You are like-minded, right? The mysterious aspects of life are something I've loved my whole life. And so this is something I've done for years, but I just want to share that at no cost to you, unless you want a personal reading, which then of course would get more in depth, and you could pick that specific connection you had in mind. I have my email address in the link below, and for now, as opposed to a website, I'm working with that. So if you want a reading, let me know and email me. I will definitely respond to you. In the new year, we'll have all the other issues coming up I couldn't do this year. So moving on, we have a fair amount to cover. We have Aries, which is, this fiery, beautiful energy. The first sign of the zodiac, a cardinal sign that's very, very much about movement and action, doing things, instigating things, leadership. First sign of the zodiac, the cardinal aspect, meaning that they represent the season. There are 4 cardinal signs. And Aries represents the season of spring. So everything is new, new, new. Number one, first, kind of this almost childlike energy that's so excited and anxious to try pretty much anything and help others in the process. Very, very, very loving, very caring, very strong. They are, they're determined. I mean, they don't usually let anything get in their way, okay? There's a very, very confident aspect to them. So, and I love that, and I've seen it many times in Aries. Even if you're a more subdued Aries, you still have that confidence because that's what you were born with. Not to mention the fact that your ruling planet is Mars. That is the warrior planet. That is the fervent, fired up. I mean, yeah, aggressive. Aggressive comes into the mix as well. And you have had Mars in your sign, your ruling planet, Aries, and which is exalted in your sign, for it'll be 6 months. That's one of the longest stays in my recognition of doing astrology that I've seen in a long time. 2 of those months it was in retrograde. That was when you really had to stop. And that's something that's not always easy for Aries, unless you are, confined in a hospital bed or, something. You're not one to stop. I mean, your mind keeps going regardless, but you were definitely asked and made to kind of stop, to really evaluate what's happened this year for you. What's happening with your relationships was a key component. And then working it out, letting it go, building upon what you've learned. Interestingly enough, we also have the planet of Chiron that I believe has been in retrograde since July, stationing direct today in your sign. The wounded healer planet, the things that were happening that really were not feeling good and that you have been hurt from or, still healing, is there to help you now and assist you and remind you of everything you've gone through this year and the reasons for it so that you can feel whole and proceed forward and with great vitality and energy again, because you've had the momentum with Mars direct now for a while. So everybody's feeling that around you. I know you had to have felt something beautiful from yesterday. And in the world, topically, some pretty important changes happened as well, right? This is what eclipses do. It brings in truth, especially with Sagittarius. It brings in things quickly, takes things out quickly. It gives us our fresh starts and finishes. And it also lasts for a long time to continue to educate us and to guide us. So for months to come, you could have the influences of this powerful, I will say very positive, new moon in Sagittarius, the eclipse, solar eclipse. So the two of you together, like I said, could be just gangbusters with so many ideas and so much ambition to make things happen. So what I'm going to do is, Sagittarius, a little more about Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a mutable sign. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so there's a lot of beautiful, positive, lucky circumstances, people that come into the mix that you just happen to know. It pays to know people, right? That's a really notable thing I found with Sagittarius is they love people of all walks of life. They're very friendly and sociable. They love to travel. They meet people from all over the world. They've definitely, if they've had to be at home, have continued to connect with people and share their knowledge and their higher learning and their interest in philosophy and many things that, are kind of outside of the box, I like to say. They open up ideas. They kind of really trigger things in people that, normally they wouldn't have recognized or listened to, and it's only for the betterment. It's because they want to be helpful and they want to bring that truth out to the surface and break away from things that are not fair and just. A lot of times I see you have 2 different types of Sagittarius. You have the, let's go party, I'm having fun, I'm going to all 3 of the parties I was invited to. I'm going to every prom from junior high to senior ball. It doesn't matter who I'm with, I'll go with a different person every time. They usually do. And there's the more serious and very educated, nose to the grindstone kind of Sagittarius. Both are, very, very focused and in a scattered way because they're very energetic and they love to move and change, and they're not going to stay in one place too long generally. But yeah, they shoot that arrow, boy, and they focus on what they want, and they do accomplish that. There's a great ability for focus, and that helps a lot with the Aries too, because the two of you have this fiery ambition, but you have a couple of differences about you. Aries is straightforward. I'm not thinking about it. I'm impulsive. I'm going to do it. Sagittarius can be impulsive, but they definitely have more of that focusing that I told you about when they're really set on a project or something, and they can kind of guide and keep the Aries just kind of on track and not maybe interested in too many things at once. I think it's just a beautiful complementary energy for the two of you. So let's see what the messages have to say in moving forward. But just know that, this beautiful, once again, transformational new moon is important. And don't ever feel fearful when you hear, oh, there's changes coming. Oh, yeah. There's changes every moment of our life. These are only there, and it's in the stars. It is our roadmap to the possibilities. And how you choose to accept those energies is completely up to you. And sometimes you'll feel it strongly, and other times you won't at all. It has a lot to do with, of course, your birth chart, which you can look up for free. And I always recommend you do. But it's also just, sometimes people react to things differently, yes? And that doesn't disclude any of the signs that I read for. So where you are in your path, I don't know. But I know that it's there for strictly guidance, and it's phenomenal how actually accurate the astrology really is when it comes to real life situations and occurrences that are happening. And it's cycles and that sort of thing. You can look back and check and compare notes with astrology. Another thing I love about it. So the main three categories I'll read to you now. And just so you know, I have changed up my tarot for mid-month. I'm now going back to the Connolly Tarot deck, which I love predominantly because I love the illustrations, but I love that predominantly they're all purple. So I'm just saying it. Just something I didn't know when I first got it, and I went, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Am I right about that? Oops, nope, not this deck. Sorry, but I love it anyway. It's gorgeous. And so, what else am I going to say? The first card is always the overall energy, that has led you to this reading, the kind of catalyst that brought you here to this point, mid-month of December. And then the second is the possible blessings or obstacles, and the third is financial, tangible, physical things you can see. So I'll go over that again as I'm saying and speaking out loud what it is. The first card, once again, for the beautiful highlighted connection of Aries and Sagittarius today, is the Knight of Swords. Okay, so in addition to everything else I mentioned astrology-wise, which is very conducive to the tarot, and that's why I do incorporate astrology, because it's the symbolisms, they've always worked in tandem together, and it makes a lot of sense. But you have the Knight of Swords. So the swords are the air signs, and everything is actually going into, not everything, I'm sorry, I always say that, but the predominant outer heavy hitter planets, Saturn, and definitely Jupiter, are heading into a conjunction of a lifetime, basically, on the 21st, when it then becomes Capricorn season and the first day of winter. It's a very, very profound change. It has not occurred in air for a long time, and will continue in the air signs versus earth signs for up to 200 years. So that's it right there. It's about the mind. It's gone from the ground and the practical and the tangible and the, having to do with materialistic things, government and places and, regiments and authority and such on the ground, right? Building, blah, blah, blah. Air is a whole different ballgame now. Air is the mind. It is the ideas, the expression, the confirmation, the conversations, the connection, the helping, the amazing, especially in Aquarius, just out of the box, unbelievable, inventive ideas coming through in regards, because ruled by Uranus, which is what Aquarius is ruled by, just scientific and medicine and, incredible ideas and new things coming down the pike. So the two of you are getting information about something, and it's fast. It's very, very quick when it's the air, because air moves quickly. You know, our thoughts are changing constantly. The clouds, you know, that's air and water, right? It's just, it's interesting, and it makes sense. A lot of people are being affected by this. The Sagittarius energies go very well with air, so I feel conversations are going to be way more clear-cut. We're getting information in the government. All of those things are coming through. And it's going to be straightforward, but it'll be truthful, and it'll be justice. Justice will have been served. And I like that, you know. And it could have to do with money. It could have to do with, you know, just being straightforward and cutting out the BS is what I always say with this. I like it a lot. No holes barred when it comes to this. And so that's interesting. Now, the second category is the category of possible blessings or obstacles. You have the Two of Swords. Now, this is partnership. This is, again, the air. This is thoughts. This is considerations. Maybe a little bit of, you know, a crossroads, they say. I don't see the swords as cross, though. They're both two possibilities. This is what I believe with this influence of the well, that was the full moon, Gemini lunar eclipse. And then we're going to have these two working together for the remainder of 2021 when we have the other eclipses that always go in pairs. It's the Gemini and the Sagittarius. So the two, which is the Gemini, right? The duality. Ideas, information coming through, making decisions, you know, not jumping forward too quickly, talking about it, being honest, being truthful, being straightforward. There's more clarity. Guess what? Venus is going into, did it go into it today? I think it did. It also went into Sagittarius. So this is so different than the Scorpio. Wow, that was passionate and intense, right? That's what we had Venus in for all of us the last 3 weeks plus. So now entering into Sagittarius, in addition to the season of Sagittarius now, meaning the sun is in Sagittarius, and then also the, so that's the sun, the moon, which is changing later. It'll be in Capricorn, or it might have just gone into Capricorn last night. But then, you know, definitely Venus, and I believe Mercury. Maybe it's Mercury that just went in, and then it'll turn into Venus. But both of them are happening relatively quickly. So absolutely, conversations, let's bring out the truth. Let's be really educated in how we proceed in our lives. And let's learn and study and then educate others in the process. It's really interesting and really important. So there's no need, even though it was this push that fire signs have to make things happen as quickly as possible a lot of times, you're going to really dissect things. You're going to let things sit in. You've gotten the information, and now you're going to sit with it, and the new year and this new moon will continue to bring the influence it needs to at the proper time, and you will come up with the right choice. I feel like it's beautiful because you have the option of a couple of things, you know, and that's always a good place to be. And so I feel that's a blessing. Maybe for some of you, you're thinking, oh, I don't know yet. You know, you see this pensive kind of stance this man is taking. But it's okay. You will figure it out. You're both incredibly intelligent, and you know whatever you want it to be something that's brilliant and that brings joy and fulfillment, obviously, right? And success. The final card is which is really interesting too, is the category of finances. So, you know, the materialistic things, yes, your money, your stability and security, your family, your clothing, food, all of the above. The High Priestess. Well, that's so important because that is showing you that regardless of all the outside noise that we've all been experiencing, which has not been very confusing for a lot of people, myself included, really boils down to one thing, and that's yourself. You have to listen to your gift, your higher power, and the co-creation with Spirit and God and life and the world. You know, there's so much happening behind the scenes we don't see. We do a lot. We absolutely have to in order to make things happen and get that law of attraction moving. You do. You have to have, even if it's a thought, you have to instigate something because that's all part of the law, right? The reciprocation and so forth, the currency of give and take. But I'll tell you, a lot of it's definitely you're getting help. And you can always turn to that. And you can always ask and receive answers in some form or another. I'll give you an example, and this is the honest truth. I would only speak the truth to you. I have a brother that passed away, and I'm still mourning his loss because he's just this amazing, talented magician that, I was very close to with a large family. He and I we experienced the most, I would say, because of our age, being closer in age and such. But anyway, I just had been thinking about him, I always do, but I thought, please give me a sign of some sort. You were a magician, you could do it for sure, and I really would appreciate it. It doesn't matter in my dreams, whatever it is, and so help me. That night, and I remembered it pretty much, but I had a call from my brother. I didn't see him, but he gave me a phone call, and I was talking to him on the phone, and it was about him winning some kind of an award, and I said, oh my gosh, I heard about what you wore. It was like a percentage that came up, and I'm trying to remember now, but it said you got like 18%, whatever. It was just, I'm using that as an example, but if you ask, things will come to you, and you really have to want them, and you have to accept and be willing to receive what you hear. And that's what this beautiful high priestess, and it represents Pisces, who are very in tune to that sort of thing and very spiritual and psychic. I read twice for them now. They were the featured sign. Well, they were the featured sign yesterday, and then they were the highlighted sign the day before. So it's really asking us with this new moon influence and a lot of the variables that are happening in the world and in spirit, is to stay tuned into ourselves first and foremost. Very important, beautiful messages, and very, very, I would say, in line with what's really happening. So now I'm going to read an individual card for every single zodiac sign in connection with you, Aries. And I'm going to stand up really quick, if you bear with me. You can still hear my voice, but due to the constant changes in my technology and such, which has kept me from being able to upload, I get up just to make sure it's videotaping. It's my 101, straightforward kind of messaging. But anyway, so we'll go right around the zodiac. So from Sagittarius and Aries, we're going to go to Scorpio and Aries. Absolutely beautiful. Very, very intense in a lot of ways. There's drama. I don't think it's boring with these two, but it also is a very strong magnetizing kind of pull between the two of you. There's the water and the air, both important elements, but very different in our approach and the way we see things. Aries is about motion and movement and just straightforward, not necessarily thinking beforehand, and just, that fired up kind of passionate confidence, like I said. And then you got the passionate, watery part of the Scorpio. That's all about our feelings. That's the only way they know how to react and to go through life is the feeling and the sensing of things. Water is able to go everywhere. It's one of those elements that can go in all places, and that's not necessarily true of other elements. And so, yeah, there's a definite passionate energy with this. We did have Venus and Scorpio up until today, and I'm pretty sure it's today, now that it's in Sagittarius. But boy, that's been intense as far as really, on a passionate, intimate level. So if you notice that stepped up, your libido or whatever, that would be a good indication of why. But in general, it's like that. And it's because that's just what Scorpios represent. They are ruled by Pluto. They're very deep, and they want to work at the very, very soul of themselves and others to understand and to, continually better themselves and their circumstances and the people around them. They can train and help them and teach them in the same way. They are very interested in the occult and mysterious things. That really intrigues them. The things that are kind of in the dark. There's that dark kind of element that comes with a lot of Scorpios, but it's very, I would find, attractive, and it keeps you interested and kind of that mysterious aspect. Very, very prominent. And, you're no different, Aries. You've been taken in by that many times. So this could be a really, really wonderful relationship and work, too. It's not just romance. You have the Six of Cups. I like this a lot because I pulled this, obviously, reading everybody's individual messages. It has come up a couple times in the last couple days. But it's about you just really enjoying each other right now and feeling really happy and fulfilled emotionally. And I think this influence yesterday and a lot of the influences upcoming will really help to make that happen. We're taking a lot of deep breaths from the fact that we had an incredibly different year for all of us, that we all experienced together. I feel like a great deal, like I said, of passion. Memories, sentimentality comes to mind around the holidays, thinking of people you care about, siblings, relatives. Just being sentimental with each other, remembering memories for each other to keep it alive again. And add new ones, of course. I like this a lot. It's I always say the nostalgia card. The hints of pinks and, purple is just romance even comes to mind. Maybe you two have not seen each other or been in contact for a while, and it's something that's been brought back into your life. And that's extra special too, right? Especially when it's right. And, timing is everything. And then we're going to go to Libra and Aries, which I love. That's your polar opposite. And I've done a lot of readings with Aries and Libra, and they do extremely well for each other for being extremely different in a lot of ways. Now, that Libra is a air sign. They're in the mind. They're going to have a lot of really wonderful things and changes happening with the predominance of air in the upcoming years after quite a bit of challenges with, to be honest, the Earth. They do well with the Earth, but it just depends on where it's affecting their life, right? I mean, they can have friends that are signs. I have many as a Libra, but when it's placed in your home or the planet, ends up being in your home environment or a few other places, it really kind of, you have to dig deep, and it can be hard, but it's super important that you get through that, and that's what's happened. A lot of the Earth energies have made you second guess and challenge yourself a bit, Libra, and now you've got that freeing up, and then you've got this ability to communicate really well. You're very diplomatic, and you care a lot about people and relationships, and the Aries is no exception. And Aries excite you and inspire you, and that confidence is always a beautiful thing. And you actually revel in a good debate. I mean, you really do, Libra. You love peace and you love tranquility and all those things, but you also like fairness to a point that you will fight for that. You are an activist in a lot of ways. You're ruled by Venus, so you're usually very beautiful in some respect. You may have dimples that are non-mistakable for Libras. And you also love making your surroundings beautiful. You have that innate gift, and that's part of the Venus influence, of course. And Aries loves that as well. So yeah, I think this is a really upbeat kind of energy going on here. You have the Eight of Wands. Wow. Fast moving information and action happening. It's like you've waited long enough. You're moving forward in this relationship. You're moving forward with an idea. Like I said, with the Mars now direct in Aries, I mean, it's all systems go. 8 is about manifestation and power and abundance in numerology. So together, you guys are just, you're not fooling around anymore, and you have great ideas and inspirations. And I hope you wrote down intentions yesterday with the new moon, because I really feel like it just solidifies it. It's always helped me a lot, and I love that for you. So if you have not subscribed, and it would mean so much, just push that button and push the like and comment to me. Let me know if this is ringing a bell to you. I'd really appreciate that. Virgo and Aries. Now, very, very different. We have fire and earth. And on the more, just straight across the board, you wouldn't necessarily see these two together. But through the years, I see it over and over again, and there's a real simple reason. They complement each other. They are so different in some ways that they actually get along extremely well because of that. And I've seen that many times, opposites do attract. You've got the earth energy, the practical, the grounded, the reliable, resourceful, very clever and intelligent when it's Virgo. Ruled by Mercury, so that's all the mind and the expansion of ideas and so forth. Very, very helpful, caring people with, just everything sort of just organized and planned way ahead of time. And this is not something that, I can say for all areas, you're capable of that, of course. But with this influence and this connection with Virgo, it's a beautiful thing that helps both of you. And you kind of perk up that Virgo from wanting to maybe be at home or work too much. You know how you are, Virgo. You're a mutable sign, Virgo. You will go with Aries wherever they want to go, and you will help them, and you will guide them and keep them grounded. And your message is the Hermit. So I just said, you may want to be at home a lot, Virgo, because you do like that, and you love being in your garden, and you love just kind of just the simpler things. You're not over the top about a lot of things, and I think Aries can be, and that's kind of something that it intrigues you. Just seeing that in someone else, you're like, well, how can they be like that? It's pretty cool. But the Hermit is you, Virgo. That actually represents you, the card, and what if you see the fire, that's the star and the brilliance that we have, and our intuition again. It seems to be coming through so strongly for all of us. To hold tight to that. Don't be led to believe other things if that's not really what you believe. Stay strong to your beliefs. Give yourself time to relax and retreat and to be at peace. And right now a lot of us have to be back home again, as I do, and businesses are shut down again, and you might be one of those people. But I'm feeling like a lot of you have been working at home this whole time, and that's just who you are. Helping other people how to figure out how to do the technology. I've had help from my Virgo friends. This is a beautiful relationship. You make it work, and it's a long-term one. And you both just want to kind of relax right now and stay tuned, as it were. You're ready, but you're just making sure to the end of the year, and just taking that time to be together in your home, in privacy. Leo and Aries, fantastic, both fire signs, revved up. Fellow, fire sign to this Sagittarius energy that came through. So it's like, there's nothing stopping you. You just have this energy that will not, some people around you are like, whoa, where's that been? It's not that you didn't want it. It's just there was a lot of things preventing us to feel as motivated. Now, Leo is, of course, ruled by the sun, so there's a great deal of energy, once again, courageousness, strength, power, motivation, all the things that you really love and you both see eye to eye on in many ways. Now, Leo is a fixed sign, so they are set in their opinions, and they have, they don't change that often, but of course they do. It's just how it's worded, how you work together, and respect each other always. And Leo is, they're very extravagant, very caring, they're generous to a fault. You guys could have so much fun, and at the same time, there's a creative energy with the two of you that could really bring in a lot of possibilities and opportunities for you. Your message is the Three of Cups. No, it's the Four of Cups. I saw the 3 in a triangular position on the ground, because what it's saying is your cups are full. You're blessed in so many ways, and this year has shown us that in ways we wouldn't have necessarily thought, I think. But you were understanding of that, and you still are, and it made you feel, I would say, even more blessed and grateful. Of course, being healthy is like number one, right? So you've known that, but there's something else that you're still, I want to say, yearning or pining for, and it has to do with your emotions. It could be something just on your own personal level, but it could also be something coming in. Some gift with this new moon eclipse that's going to come in front, an opportunity in the form of a gift for an offer of a job, offer of this relationship to go to a different level. I think there's been a lot of genuine love in the air. And when it's Venus in Sagittarius, it's just so much fun, and it's action-oriented. It's like adventurous, and it's, let's think about what we can do to, just help the world and and be of service and travel in the meantime, because you got to do that, even if it's just by way of technology. It's exciting. It's a fun, lighter-hearted energy with love than that of Scorpio, which is also beautiful. Everybody contributes. Every element and sign contributes. They're just different. So yeah, you're thinking about something else that might come into the mix to bring that that balance, more of a balance is what I'm thinking, for that emotional feeling of contentment. Cancer in Aries. Yep. Water and fire. There's a lot of passion in this coupling. Once again, there's not a lot of boredom. There's always something to discuss perhaps, or share on some level, physical or mental. Cancers are very caring, they are very sentimental. They are there for you. They love to take care and to feed and to nourish and to sense the needs with others in a more energetic and emotional way. It's generally just all emotion. Very different than you, Aries, but you of course have emotion. Yours is just more fired up. It just comes out and it's just like, well, theirs is more internal. And they can keep it inside, and you may have sometimes you're like, come on, man, I'd like you to tell me what you're feeling. I think that's more prevalently coming with this beautiful air energy of communication. It will bring forth the desire to emerge and express oneself in ways they may not have ever done to this point in their life. So yeah, let me see what your message is. They are ruled by the moon. That's extremely powerful. They are very, very, once again, sensitive but psychic, intuitive. They have many dreams that are very much messages and guidances for them, downloads, if you will, for what's up and coming. And they will share those with you, Aries, and I would highly recommend you listen. This is where we're at right now. Halfway through December, and with everything that's gone on, there's a sense of exhaustion, which is what I've picked up from myself and others in the world, from just the over amount of stimulus and emotions that have circled the globe for the entire year, pretty much. And the Four of Swords is about just resting. The information has been said to a point where you want to plug your ears. You have had some difficulty in your communication, and that's stopped. You're done. You've had enough of that. You want to rest and recognize that there'll always be more communication coming up. But right now, I want to be amidst a feeling of love and optimism and happiness and expressing each other's love for each other. It's a really wonderful. What is that? Oh, it looks like a treasure chest of money. I've never seen that in a card before as a symbol, but he's looking over the fence and he's like, between those words of communication, which have to do perhaps with money coming in after such a long wait. Oh my gosh. I think this has to do with a lot of you right now. There's a reason I actually noticed that. I've never noticed that. Money information is going to come through, and you're just waiting. You're not going to get overly zealous or confused or expecting of anything, but mark my words, that's what these eclipses do for the two of you. So congratulations on that, because I know we all need security, but really Cancer's really relying on that's their family, man. That's everything to them. So that you're going to work together on that. Gemini and Aries, I like it a lot. You guys can really have a good time together. There's the air quality and element once again. The mind, the information, the non-stop thinking and ways to evolve and teach and learn is a big part of who Gemini are and is and am, and I'm not sure of all the proper English ways to say that. But Gemini is a duality sign. Gemini had the full moon eclipse, so that really culminated some things between the two of you. You shined a light. The moon shined a light on what was really going on. There was no need or desire to hide anything anymore. And it just helps you to move forward from there and eliminate stuff that is not helping you or great for any kind of communication. So that's being worked on. This, once again, this beautiful Chiron energy for the two of you seems to have really been an important energy. And so, yeah, beautiful sign, ruled by Mercury, very, very witty and clever and smart and educated and just wanting to connect with people. You know, they're very, very key on how can I share and connect with the world at large and be fair and loving and kind and friendly and definitely kind of everywhere, but knowledgeable nonetheless. Your message is the Hierophant. So tradition, higher learning, higher educated, a traditional way to handle circumstances. Not something that either one of you particularly are fond of, but that you have become accustomed to this year. Being ruled and dictated by authority, if you will, has been a pretty big picture for a lot of us. And then there's the side that is about marriage and about just making that commitment, okay, and making that in a way that feels right because you've thought about it enough and thinking is driving you crazy. Let's just make it happen. Let's start the new year fresh, together. Commitment is hard for a lot of people, but you're making the decision that that's where it needs to go. Or not at all. So that just came in. But yeah, beautiful energy of our understanding of ourselves. You know, we can be that higher authority of our own lives. And hopefully that's a part of the picture too for you. Beautiful card, Major Arcana. Then we have, and by the way, that is the card that represents Taurus, which is the next sign for Aries. And this is two totally different, once again, totally different energies. Both very strong, both very determined. But we have Earth with Taurus and fire with Aries. So, I mean, unless you're willing to work together, it's going to be, you know, you really, the love will override all of that because you understand you both have something to offer and you both are very, very determined, for heaven's sakes. And Taurus is ruled by Venus, so they really love luxury and money and beauty and all the wonderful things that they are willing to work really hard for. So if you're in some kind of connection, if it isn't romantic, this is the person you want on your team, Aries. And I know you know that. I know this has already been something you've been dealing with and realizing and feeling really grateful for. If it's romance, the Taurus is going to work through things. They're going to be there. They're going to be steadfast with you and loyal and caring, and they're going to tolerate your, you know, your fired up energy when they're kind of be like, whoa, let's just be cool, man. It's all good. Just trust. We're not going anywhere. I'm right here. And that feels good. I think that's important in relationships, to know that the other person wants to fight for it and be there for you. Knight of Wands. There you go, Aries. Fired up, man. But knights are, you know, the messengers, right? They bring information. This is about something moving forward. This is about fast, like motivated, almost too fast. Like if you don't listen, you might miss this information. So be alert, be aware. You know, I think you are. I think all of that has come to a place of feeling more balanced and such, where you can take in information. You know, you've got that energy moving back up, Aries. This is fantastic. Once again, I would love to hear what this is about. But it does have to do with the fiery energies of Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. So maybe that's part of the picture. Maybe they're coming in with something beautiful to inspire you and offer you, you know, that can really get your juices going and motivate you again. I love it. So then we have Aries and Pisces right next to each other, the first and the last signs of the zodiac. I've already made it very clear if you haven't seen yesterday's video, and I will continue to say it, but Pisces is a very, very, very sensitive, watery element sign. That's a mutable sign, very adaptable, very much about wanting to just go with the flow and be at peace, and let's all get along, and let me do what I can to instigate that from my soul and heart. Let me create this beautiful life and vision I see for myself and you, Aries, as we work together and allow this to be, a beautiful whole connection. They are traditionally ruled by Jupiter, so that's a very beautifully lucky and optimistic, happy energy, and more modernly they're ruled by Neptune. So that's kind of station forward, and the Neptune is the one that can be very, very deceptive in a way, and hidden and obscure as far as things being real or not knowing 100%, feeling that cloudiness, and the Neptune, the god of underworld, just but very creative at the same time, and sometimes with Pisces in particular, just always having on those rose-colored glasses, believing things that may not necessarily be true, but wanting with all your heart and soul that if there's something we can do to make it better, we're going to make it better. It will happen. The eternal optimist. That inspires you, right, Aries? You like to be around that, and you love the love they offer and their beautiful sensitivity of actual genuine caring and artistry and creativity. So you can do a lot of things together. And your card message is the sun. And the sun has just come through, if you notice. So thank you again, Spirit. I love your help and your insight, and letting me be the one to bring the messages. But this is all about the best and the most powerful, and our definitely our egos and our drives and our love and our creation. As I mentioned, this is the epitome of that. It's beautiful. It's one of the best cards in the zodiac, and it does represent Leo, and ruled by the sun, and that motivation and strength that we have. Never letting up on that, and remembering that. If you're ever questioning how strong you are, just think about what you did this year. Another one of those to put down in the books, right? Who would have thought? You knew it'd be okay. Then Aquarius and Aries, absolutely love it. And we have the beautiful transformation of starting with Saturn and Jupiter going into Aquarius. Wow, that's going to be amazing. It's going to be it's such an oxymoron, because Saturn is the taskmaster and the restrictor and the constrictor, and keeping things, smaller, just so you can be focused and making sure you don't veer off the path, so to speak. And then the Aquarius, which is like, what path can I go on? Because I want to try everything, and I want to help the world, and I want to be gregarious, and I want to be extravagant in my thoughts, and as long as they're my ideas, we're good. They're fixed in their ideas. But the both of you together, it's just this beautiful, beautiful, energetic, loving, caring. Aquarians are very sociable and friendly. They love people. And, they really want to help, and you love that. And you can be very, very, very harmonious and very, I just feel like you have a lot of things to learn from each other. And Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So there's a lot of unpredictability too, which is always kind of exciting. What's going to happen now? It can be surprises that are amazing, and maybe not so much sometimes. Kind of keeps you on your toes. I think you'd like that. What is your message? You have the Nine of Wands, and I like this because it is the completion and the end of a cycle. The next new cycle is 10. That's the 10 of Wands. This is about your ambitions and how hard you've worked, whether it was sitting in your home in the lotus position and really focusing in your mind and soul about what it is you need to do for yourself and therefore others, or you literally have been physically just overwrought. You may be one of the first, responders, which, oh my God, I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. This comes to mind with your personalities, that you would exactly be in that type of situation. But, oh, I just love you and appreciate you. You've gone way beyond, above and beyond, and it's ending. You're going to, we're seeing the light. We're seeing the help coming through, right? And just trust and believe, boy. because it's going to be easier. It's going to be easier. And I love that. I love that it's the end, but you know what I'm speaking of. And this is, like I said, a general reading, but it says the same thing for all of you. All of that hard work and motivation and ideas and physicality and, breaking your back or what have you and going the extra mile is coming back to you, because that's what the law of attraction does. That is the karma that we speak about so often. And then Capricorn and Aries. Wow. Well, Capricorn, your birthday's coming up. We still have a few more days for Sagittarius season, which I love. And I love Sagittarius. I do. And there's been a lot of influence in Sagittarius, which I love as an air sign. It just really works for me. And it keeps my spirits up. And that's what I wanted to bring forth to you for everybody. But just Capricorn is the earth sign, though. You've had a lot of planetary influences working in your favor and for you, and good for you. We all need that. We don't get it all the time. Well, this was your time, even in this year, with Jupiter in your sign, which is, leaving on the 19th, Saturday. So, yeah, we've got some really interesting changes, but I feel like you have grown so much, Capricorn. You're an earth sign that's steadfast. You're ruled by Saturn, for Pete's sake. It's in your sign right now. It's just, you've been very, very diligent and steadfast, and no mountain was too high for you to climb, and you are that goat symbolism of, determination and success and well-being, because you work so darn hard at it. So you deserve it all. I only ask, and always do, that between you and Aries, as this relationship, that you find time to have fun. That's so important right now. That is really what's coming across for everybody. And the new moon in Sagittarius, which is about fun and lifting up and kind of just breaking free from our own internal barriers and ones that have occurred in the outside world. Cardinal sign, so you both understand the need to initiate and make things happen and keep moving in some way and capacity. And you have the Three of Wands. That is so beautiful. That's fire. That's growth. That's help. And it just keeps growing and growing. You're not stopping. Neither of you have that kind of mentality. You just get up and start again. Whether it's in a whole new direction, a whole new location, in a relationship, whatever it is, you make it work. Beautiful energy for you, beautiful messages. And those are the individual messages for the association and connection with Aries. Now, I did add an extra, or different, beautiful oracle deck for you today for the mid-months, and I'll continue with the other two that I have and just express to you that the first one that I added is newer to me. It's the Starseed Oracle. And I pulled one for myself, and I actually started crying because it's just absolutely beautiful. These are by Rebecca Campbell, and the artwork is by Danielle Noel. And it is gorgeous, but more importantly, the messages are just completely filled with love. As I always say, they're about just our guidance and help us feel uplifted and encouraged, and to never lose sight of our abilities. And so I'm going to pull one for you specifically today, Aries, all beautiful Aries. And, your highlighted connection, of course, your Sagittarius, which is just phenomenal, and all of your energies and connections. So your message, the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. I love this for your Aries because you have the energy and the placement being the number one of that childlike innocence. I met so many Sagittarians and Aries that have such a youthful energy about them, and they could be well into their older age, but they just keep that with them. That is such a beautiful gift. But I'm going to read to you what it says specifically. And luckily, I noticed that in this beautiful illustration book, it does have it in order. So I was thinking, oh my, how am I going to find that? Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Golden children. Golden children, children of the sun, are highly advanced, extremely intelligent souls who are incarnating increasingly on planet Earth. Ooh, they have little or no personal karma and possess incredible gifts and intuitive abilities. Wow, this is gorgeous. Golden children are born with a very dear mission. Many remember it from a young age and begin answering and sharing it in early life. Due to their unique intelligence, they may find themselves easily bored at school. Most have never incarnated on Earth before, and so if they're not supported in the right ways, they struggle with physical life here. They're often referred to as the new humans. Well, if you pull this card, it may be a sign that you're being called to mother, father, or nurture a child. Oh my goodness, is that your transformation that this new moon is going to create for you? Well, congratulations, and if you know of one and you're having a child, a double congratulations, because it's an incredible, beautiful experience. And lastly, to nurture and nourish it, to give it every chance to grow and reach adulthood, no matter what that beginning is. Stars, I'm going to shorten it out. Starseed Soul Inquiry. How can you treat yourself or others more tenderly? Interesting, because there's that fire kind of what is that word, brusqueness that comes sometimes. But I have found a lot of fire signs, though they have that exterior, the roar of the lion and so forth, and no, they're very, very tender. So I guess just reminding yourself to be in touch with that is important, because it's a beautiful gift you have, and perhaps it's not being recognized as much as it needs to. But I absolutely love that. So that's the first time I believe I've read from this oracle deck, but I'm absolutely excited about that for you. And then I am going to read and pick an animal medicine card for you, because we all have these beautiful animal spirits that like to come to us and give us messages and information. And the world is full with animals, and we're animals, of course, but to cohabitate, I'm making up my words today, cohabitate with them is one of the most beautiful things. I have, as I mentioned, I am one of the many people this year who adopted a cat during COVID, and because horrible things were happening, and I had put it off for so long. But boy, I'm happy. I feel like I've met my soulmate. It's just the reality of it. It's pretty incredible. Your message, and I've read this a couple times, but I really like it, is pigeon. So, let me read you what that says. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. It opens right up to it. Song, peace, and home. Pigeon knows how to come home. Drawing pigeon indicates a time to deepen your peace with where you came from. This can be done in your heart, even in your mind, even if your mind cannot align. Pigeon is dove in gray city clothes, and like dove, brings peace, gentleness, and understanding with soothing songs and coos. Pigeon is a present and peaceful, both in the beauty of Earth's nature and in human cities. Even in a crowded train station or huddled under an awning outside of a deli to get out of the rain, it is possible to be a being of song, peace, and friendship. So basically, I'm thinking it's just saying you can get along anywhere and with everyone, and I know that about you. And inside, with that tenderness, which is what the seed message said, there is great peace within you, and you want that. And you'll fight for it, boy. But that's a gorgeous message. I hope you like that and feel a resonance with that instantly. Last but not least, I'll finish this reading with the Super Attractor Manifestation message, which I've always said is one of my favorites, because we can feel and align with spirit in a life that we truly want and bring forth. Yes, it's the law of attraction. No, it's not the woo-woo, oh yeah, overnight this is happening. But trust me, it happens that way sometimes when you're in exact alignment with what you feel and want and what you are bringing into your life, basically. Pretty simple stuff, but there's a couple of steps that have to be a part of that. That's what they call the law, right? This is just here to remind us and give us that extra incentive and, insight into simply maybe reading this several times a day to ourselves and so forth. I love this. This is perfect. When I'm tuned into the energy of abundance, I become abundant. And that's what you represent anyway, Aries, and everybody you touch. This abundant energy. There's just enough to go around for everybody. It never seems to end. And I love that for you. I pray that you are doing well, that you have a very, very prosperous rest of the year, and then of course leading into the year. But I'll be here every day if you want to come back. I would love that. And maybe, you know, listen into other connections of yours. As I said, I go around the zodiac wheel from Aries to Pisces, so it gives you an idea of who's coming up next. But in the meantime, yes, be well, thrive in your relationships, and thank you again. Bye for now.